My name is Edward James Dupre, and I have Asperger's syndrome. This is going to be a hot mess of descriptions of who I am, but it is what it is. By definition, according to the Ferris State University on my phone, and my white balance is out of whack. So this one is Asperger's syndrome is the mildest and highest functioning end of the spectrum of pervasive development disorders, autism spectrum. Asperger's is a pervasive and complex developmental disorder. It is only relatively recently that the syndrome, originally described by Asperger in 1944, has attracted more widespread attention. There is still some considerable debate about the value of distinguishing Asperger's syndrome from autism, but clinically, there would appear to be advantages in using the term Asperger's syndrome for individuals with a particular cluster of social, communication, and behavioral characteristics. Students with Asperger's syndrome range from normal to high, occasionally very high IQ, and typically present with basic language skills. I have a mild case of Asperger's. Is my camera blurry or is it just me? It's just me, I don't know. I have a mild case of Asperger's, and I didn't know that I had it until I was 18 years old. I thought for the longest time I didn't know why I was acting so repetitive, or I have poor social skills, or I can't keep good eye contact with people during a conversation. And as soon as I started to research Asperger's, when my brother told me that I had it, I was like, it totally makes sense. I never blamed my Asperger's for any of my, mishaps in life. The mishaps happen to everybody. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. However, I feel like it's different for people who have autism or Asperger's because they're treated differently. Because how sometimes when somebody does a mishap who does not have autism, they're like, you have to get it together, and yada yada yada, and ridiculed, and blah 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 blah. A person with autism, on the other hand, is like, it's okay, not a big deal. We'll get through this. Contrast, you will have people that use the R word. I'm not comfortable saying it, so I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. I hate that word so much. I hate it when people use it to describe people, even though it's a term that's been used before. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's absolutely an insulting term to use. I have never been called by that slur before, and I hope to God I will never be called by that slur. And so I was talking to my friend, who he said, so if Asperger's is somewhat a learning disability, how do you read? And I said, what do you mean, how do I read? And he goes, well, people who do book videos like me, they expect you to pick up on every little detail and whatnot. And I'm like, And I never really thought about it before. When you look at book reviews, sometimes on BookTube, you see people picking up on themes and messages throughout the book, and then I would just be saying, the writing is great, the characters are developed, and I don't really dive well into details, and I don't know if it's because I failed to look at the themes that are in the book, or I failed to learn something from the book. Even in my favorite books, I can't pick up the themes on that. I can't. And I can't pick up the themes from, Lunar Chronicles, or Heartless by Marissa Meyer, or even Instant Karma, or themes like in the Shadowhunter novels, or Vampire Academy, or Percy Jackson. I have a hard time picking out themes. And then I watch a 40-minute book review of a book that's like this tiny, name drop Girl on the Train, and they're talking about themes and complexity and messages, and I'm just like, the book was good or the book was bad. That's it. That's just how I do my reviews. And I don't know if I choose to do that, or if it's my Asperger's that's restricting me from picking up on the small details. I don't know. And And also, I have a hard time concentrating on things. I do. I have a hard time concentrating on things. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest, reading a book that has very little dialogue and it's just all description, I have a hard time concentrating. I do. Like, one of my favorite books is Little Fires Everywhere. There will be pages, like 10 pages of no dialogue. Within those pages, I get bored. I'm going to be honest, I get bored. And that's probably one of the reasons why I had such a hard time getting into, you know, it takes me a long time to read a book. It does. It takes me a long time to read a book. I mean, I'm looking at The Dark Artifices up there, and those books are, to begin with, very daunting because they're this big. But also, they're pretty long books. And I would imagine I would have a hard time getting into those books because they're so long. But like, it would take me a long time to read a novel. It wouldn't matter if it's like this tiny, this big, big fonts, little fonts, all dialogue, all description. It would take me a long time to read the book because I would get down to the bottom of the page or I get to the end of the chapter. I'm like, what happened? That was also another reason why I left YouTube for my 1 year. It's because I didn't feel like I would be worthy, not trying to be, dramatic or whatnot, of being a booktuber and not review a book. I have a hard time reviewing books because I can't focus on one point at a time. Whenever I do discussion videos, I would always say, sorry for this ramble, it's not really put together well. And I would edit a lot of my Let's Reacts, like recently. I would be like 15 minutes long. And hold on, let me actually pull up something. For example, one of my videos is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. That video is 3 minutes long. When I recorded it, 15 minutes long. Not joking. And it was, a lot of it was just filler of points that made absolutely no sense to the video. Literally had to sit down and literally just take out everything that had nothing to do with the book. And I read the plot, I struggled saying those names, and I struggled, staying focused while reading the plot. So I just took out that portion. I brought up things like comparing it to Mulan or something like that, and because it was a Asian fantasy, I cut that part out, and it just didn't flow well in that video. That's how I feel sometimes about when I review a book. I will bring in points that has nothing to do with the novel. Nothing to do with the novel at all. And that's why I don't do a lot of book reviews on this channel, is because I don't want you guys to be watching a video where I make absolutely no sense. Like I just ranted a couple minutes ago. But I don't want you guys to watch those book reviews because they'll make absolutely no sense. And I'm sorry that I'm going to be a booktuber that's not going to review books. And that's fine. And also another thing what Asperger's have is restricted range of interests. And back to the Ferris State University, students with Asperger's have eccentric preoccupations or odd intense fixations. They tend to relentlessly lecture on areas of interest, ask repetitive questions about interests, have trouble letting go of ideas, follow own inclinations regardless of external demands, and sometimes refuse to learn about anything outside of their limited field of interest. And that's me. That is so me. Back to school. Academic difficulties. Students with Asperger's usually have average to above average intelligence, but lack high level thinking and comprehension skills. They tend to be very literal. Their images are concrete and abstraction is poor. Speaking style and impressive vocabularies give the false impression that they understand what they're talking about, when in reality they're merely parroting what they have heard or read. The students with Asperger's frequently has an excellent rote memory, but it is mechanically in nature. That is, the student may have respond like a video that plays in set sequence. Problem solving skills are poor. And that's me. And when I look back at my channel, parroted, is that a word? Parroted other YouTube channels that I liked, and I parroted them, meaning I mimicked, I copied. I carbon copied them to make my channel. And my previous videos, as you notice, I took them down because I didn't want to be a copy. I didn't want to mimic somebody else. I wanted to be my own thing, and I'm still struggling to be my own channel. And it's hard, and you're noticing right now that I am looking away from the camera. And that's not by choice. That's just me. That's just who I am. And that's why sometimes I look at the viewfinder, not the camera lens. Hello, camera lens. I have a hard time like staying locked eye contact, even though you guys are not an eye. Well, you are, but it's camera lens. Even though I have a hard time keeping eye contact with people, because I don't know what it is though, why I have a hard time keeping eye contact with people, even with family, even with friends, people that I've known my whole life. I have a hard time looking at people, and it sucks. So every time you see me in a video, I always either look at the book that I'm holding, or looking at my cup that I'm holding, or looking at my bookcase, the floor, ceiling, the lamp. But I never want to hide my true self from YouTube. This is who I am. I am going to continue being a Asperger's book reader. And if you want to stick around, stick around. If you don't want to stick around, you don't have to stick around. I am using this as a way to showcase who I really am. And who I really am is Edward James DeBray, mild case of Asperger's. So whenever I do a book review, I found that if I section off book review in plot, characters, and conclusion, I can get all of my points out instead of just having one big mesh. Because one of my biggest things is that I jump all over the place in my reviews, and I hate doing that. I want to make it as consistent as possible. So whenever I do a book review on my blog, which I haven't worked on in a couple months, I do one big section of plot, and one big section of characters, and one big section of conclusions. I don't do that on my channel because I can't vocalize how I want to. I can't vocalize my. Damn it! What's the term? I can't vocalize my thought process the same way that I did on my blog, unless I'm reading the script, which is my blog. But I don't like to do that. I don't like to sound robotic when I'm reading a review and just talking, but that helps me. But I want to try and move on past that. I know this is a very confusing video, and I apologize, but I hope you guys stuck to the end because I truly appreciate all of my 121 subscribers. I really do. I don't know how many views I'm gonna get on this video. If I don't get many views, that's fine. If I get a handful, that's fine. Anyways, that's who I am. That's who I am. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you guys have any questions for me or whatever. And subscribe for more content. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and wearing your mask at all times. Hope you guys have a God bless day and a God bless weekend, and I will see you guys soon. Deuces.